Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the Wave Italy Apex Racing League Prototype Championship here at Daytona International Speedway. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Tim Cox with Dennis Branch in the production booth, and you're here live watching Apex Racing TV.
Well, Austin, really looking forward to this one today. Of course, Daytona, just inland from the beach here, and of course, the first ever race here. Well, it was a sports car race, and how more fitting to feature the LMP1s and the LMP2s. I can't wait for this one to begin, really. Not far off from qualifying, and I'm sure it's going to be a great evening of racing once more.
It certainly will be. The LMP1s don't usually come here as they're more in the European side of things, but they got them here now, and the LMP2s usually in IMSA, they come here a lot, so the LMP2 car is going to have a lot of experience around here. I'm expecting the LMP2 field to be really tight and close with each other because, you know, IMSA, Daytona 24 hours, everybody trains for this one, and there's a lot of knowledge out there on how to drive the LMP2s and how to set up an LMP2 to its maximum potential here at Daytona for those 24 hours, or even just a regular IMSA season. It seems like IMSA always comes here. And the LMP1s, well, this is going to be a very different race than they're used to. You know, LMP1s don't have a lot of knowledge about here, but I'm expecting these LMP1 cars to be boosting a lot in the infield and reclaiming some of that on the straightaway, but it's going to be all about traffic management around here because Daytona in that infield is a little bit tight and tricky.
It is indeed, and funnily enough, I'm one of those people who's currently training for the Daytona 24 in the LMP2. Bit of a tricky car. You know, it's quite Daytona. It's a relatively simple circuit when you just look at it as an overview. You know, not that many turns. So much of the
Hairpin
bank.
right.
Well, as you see it right out on the out on the banking. You know, however, it's the ability to get the power down. Obviously, you can apply more traction control in to prevent the wheels from spinning up. Of course, they'll be in first gear, exiting out of the likes of the International Horseshoe and turn 5 to 2 hairpins on the infield. However, that then does, you know, hamper the car a little bit. The LMP2s do struggle with their traction control and ability to get the power down. So if you're the drivers that are able to run less traction control, will definitely be faring a bit better, as we just see Cole there coming out onto the banking section, and a bit of a tricky corner that. There's a bump mid-corner, and it always makes it a bit more complicated, shall we say, to get the power down without losing the rear end of the car.
Yeah, the rear end and car controllability is definitely going to be a big thing here. Turn 1 as well, keeping those tires alive through turn 1. I've seen so many mistakes of cars throwing it into turn 1 and locking up the brakes, going a little bit wide, or having the brake bias a little bit more rearward, and they just spin out. Now, it's more common in the lower cars to see mistakes in there because, you know, they don't have the downforce that these cars have jumping off the banking at turn 1. And it's a very smooth transition there, so it's not going to be that, what's it called? That jarring of a transition, unlike other road courses, Kansas, where you go off the banking and into a turn, and it's just a sudden hit, and you're going to be seeing damaged floors here. Daytona, they know what they're doing there, and it's a very tricky entry, but in these prototype cars, it's not as tricky and scary as it is in a GT3 or a TCR car, which, you know, if you tried around here, if you're training for the Roar before the 24, like I am, you've been cursing turn 1 ever since you tried it.
Of course, good old TCRs with the pretty front-wheel drive, pushing the car wide, and yeah, they're definitely a little bit tricky. And for me, it's going to be interesting to see in LMP1. We've currently got Audi setting all the fastest time. The 2 Porsches in the field, piloted by Schneider and Adriano. And of course, the difference between the 2 cars, obviously other than looks and manufacturers, is that the Porsches are able to cover the hybrid under acceleration, whereas the Audis are only able to do it under braking. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's obviously with so much of, you know, full throttle, especially in the latter half of the lap, or latter 2/3 really, play a little bit more into the hands of the Porsches. Just seeing Acciardo just heading into 7th, bottom of the LP1s right now. And yeah, going to be under race conditions that may well just aid them a little bit more against the Audis.
Yeah, the Porsche is going to have the better boost usage because they can recover on the straightaway in that banking. But the Audis, the top speed of these Audis, we saw it at Spa, are just insanely faster than the Porsches. And if we look at the manufacturers right now, the top 6, Audi, and Audi. I believe that was 6. But, you know, if you're an Audi representative right now, you're grinning ear to ear. You know, I said that yesterday during the TCR race where it was 3 Audis holding off everybody else in the TCRs. The old dogs awards, I called it. Well, the old dogs of the LMP definitely still got a few tricks up their sleeves on the Porsche.
I mean, just look at how close it is, though, at the top 2, Spets and Yakubu. 1500ths of a second is all that separates those 2 currently on the front row. However, as we see the Porsche there heading up onto the 2nd row of the grid in that 3rd place. Such fine margins between each of the cars on each of the rows, and it's a similar story as well in LMP2 right now, where under a 10th is all that separates pole in P2 Pro. And it's equally, well, it's even tight as 100th of a second in LMP2 AM.
Yeah, the AMs,
Wow.
that is insanely tight. 9,000ths of a second separates Gib and Telegard right there. There is Martin Telegard pulling off, and Connor and Martin are is actually 5th and 6th overall. Now the P2 class is scored overall. So they're scored together, but you know, in qualifying, you do want to see who is doing the best out of everybody else right there. That's a big slide for Thomas Sorensen in that hairpin. Like you're saying, minimizing the sliding around there is definitely how you get good times. Now remember, pit stops. When are the LMP1s going to do it? We've been seeing them, you know, the winning strategy sometimes being the longer pits or the shorter pits to avoid the traffic. And I'm going to have to say, I feel like when the LMP2 cars pit or before they go into the pits, when you hit the back of them, it's going to be a moment of judgment around, hey, I'm about to hit traffic. I'm going to have to hop into the pits right here. I feel like that's going to be the right strategy as Marco jumps up there into 3rd. And, you know, that's a great time for that Porsche because, you know, the top 2 are separated by 15,000ths of a second right now for the overall pole between Spets and Yakubu.
Definitely. Just going back to what you're saying there, traffic management is always the key in multi-class racing. Of course, there's obviously no GT cars for them, the prototypes to have to wrestle with and negotiate and pick their way through. However, they expect to see those LMP1s utilizing the LMP2s as pawns in their fight for their relative positions that they'll be going through, and getting in, trying to get an LMP2 in between them into the bus stop. Also on the infield, like you mentioned, through turns 3 and 5 for the 2 hairpins. And then they're able to pull away. And then equally, that does play a part in the story of LMP2 as well, where maybe battling with someone, and if you end up with an LMP1 for a corner in between yourself and the car in front of you, you could expect to see drivers losing and gaining large chunks of time because of it. It's definitely going to be a fascinating one to watch. And we've only got a minute left of qualifying, and the race start can't come any sooner for me.
Yeah, I can literally see you bouncing in your seat right now. But yeah, traffic management going to be huge. We might see a few tactical letting of the LMP1s by, or yeah, just letting your competitor go ahead, you letting the LMP1 by, and then catching your rival when either they're letting the other car by or they're taking the corner normally and having to get out of the way because there's an LP1 standing up there inside.
Just interesting, looking at the times as well, no one really going any quicker right now in qualifying. Of course, only 15 seconds left. The drivers have got this lap to complete. So
Ollie Cole looks like he's improving a little bit. He's currently sitting down in 7th right now. Comes across the line. Did have a good final corners, but it's not going to be enough to improve. And, you know, he's pretty far down the order right now, but qualifying is over. It's Alex Spets on pole position in the LP1s, and Ismail Yakubu right behind him. Marco starts up there in 3rd place, the first Porsche, followed by Jan Korbs. Balog in 5th, followed by Simon Calleratz, Ollie Cole, and Nicholas Schneider, the other Porsche. And in the LMP2s, Owen Carroll will be starting up on pole, followed by Lorenzo Castellini, Francesco Pineda, and Daniel Civisasbo in 12th place. It's Timu time. Will be starting in 13th, and Connor Gibbs takes the LMP2 AM pole, followed by Martin Telegard. Jack Geiler and Lorenzo Savoli right behind him, followed by Martin Corfed, Roy Mass, Ricardo Garoli, Andreas Lionart, Gerardo Iconati, Thomas Sorensen, and Andy Teisers in 23 and 24. They're followed by Hans Blockart, Dino Vela, our own Andy Thompson, and Giuseppe Maya at the back of our 28-car grid here at Daytona. And now that's stuck in your head.
It is, yeah. That's all I'm going to be thinking about, you know, all night and undoubtedly at work tomorrow morning as well. Just that little little theme tune going through my head, and
You will hate my you would hate my ringtone.
why does that not surprise me in the slightest?
It should, because it's usually IndyCar theme, but you know, it's not as catchy as doot 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 doot.
Oh dear. Hopefully these go. Just wait for everyone to take the grid. I think everyone has now, and they'll be heading behind the well, safety truck rather than a safety car that we have here at Daytona.
Trucks are better. Trucks are always better. Just trucks.
Well, that's the
I'm showing my South right here.
you are just a true American in general, really, there, and obviously, good job we only have a part of the lap to go, and it's always feels like it's more drawn out when the cars have to do the full, complete lap behind the, especially the safety truck, not being anywhere near as quick as maybe the Porsche 911 safety car.
They
that
travel at the
supposed
same
to
speeds.
Oh, I know.
Oh, are you just trying to make me mad right now? But you know, I can also get another Daytona arcade song stuck in your head right now, because they're about to do a rolling start. But I'm not going to do that one because I like my lungs.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, it'd be interesting to see. Well, you see, a bit of interesting tactics going on. Cole just dropping off the back of everyone.
He doesn't want to deal with this. He's just playing this one safe. The LP2s are in their own little start zone. So, truck is off, and it's time to go. Green. Late start by Alexander Spence, waiting for the right moment. Was actually weaving out when they called the green flag, but he jumped that really well. Yakubu and Marco. Marco stuck there on the inside. Watch out for Corbs around the outside, because Marco on the Porsches getting a great run as we go to our LMP2 field right now. They're all bunched up and ready to go. And in LMP2, it is, oh, we got an accident in the LP1. We're going to check that out at the end of the wall. That's Marco Adcano. Oh, no, that is one messed up.
Yakubu's involved as well, the Audi driver. Another of the cars, and also it looked like he was missing a large chunk of his rear wing as well as the LMP2.
Oh, that's a big send on the inside by Panetta. Panetta sending up the inside, trying to get the overtake on Owen Carroll. They almost made contact right there as they head through in the LP2 class, heading into the International Horseshoe first time by this well. A lot cleaner than the LP1s. A little bit of argy-bargy bump and romping right there, but no major damage. All the LP2s made it through there. But what the heck happened in the LP1's field?
Oh, no, big Tycon, he's into the wall. He's gone.
And I cursed him.
The curse of the commentator. Fully striking once more, and oh, that looks like Carlos maybe with a bit of a slowdown there, getting really slow up the corner, and likewise Roy Mass there running incredibly wide. Let's take a little look at what happened in LMP1.
Yeah, Yakubu and Marco Adriano made contact right there to see the Audi. Oh, there was just no space for. Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Oh, that. Well, that was a full-on ping pong ball move right there. He just, you know, didn't leave the space for and got pushed off into the grass, and then, you know, just like ice and you know, playing a little bit of curling right there, knocked them both off the target. And look at them fighting, the two teammates fighting for the draft right now. The 119 Panetta is just going to storm all the way up into the overall lead ahead of Owen Carroll. And Sidney Sasswell and Carroll were drafting each other. Panetta had nowhere to go, was getting pushed off onto the apron right there. And, you know, you don't have to always obey by the don't overtake below the yellow line, because NASCAR doesn't do it either. And here on iRacing, we just said, okay, you can just do whatever you want. And Panetta on the apron takes the lead, but you know, now he's going to be focusing on holding away in the infield and holding off Carroll and Sisby Sasbo, and Timu time in 4th place.
Well, it's interesting that Sisby Zabe really tripped up over Carroll realistically there. It's where he's trying to get, you know, the slipstream like you say, and nearly had contact with the back end of Carroll, and Panetta just said, thank you very much, I'll have a bit of that gap while you two are trying to decide what you're doing, and took the lead in LMP2 Pro. Just headed to the front end of LMP1, and Spets and Korb starting to really pull away from Balog right now.
Yeah, if we look at our LMP1 field, Alexander Spets miles ahead of Corbs, and you know, Spets off the track is Roy Mass in the bus stop. He's locked up the brakes. That's right on the exit right there. He's gotten clear of everybody else, but thankfully nothing else happened right there. Spets was affected. Oh my goodness, look at this. 3 wide heading into the tri-oval right now. Heading into turn 1, side by side are 2 teammates, and then behind him is Zafoli. But look at that dive by Castellini, heading into turn 1, side by side they go. Castellini got the apex right there, and he cuts off Connor Gibb right behind him, heading into the International Horseshoe right now. Connor Gibb set up for an inside move, but it's, oh no, the 114 of Zafoli gets in the back of Connor Gibb and sends Gibb, flying through the air and into the grass. And, yeah, that's all on Zafoli right there.
He's lost out massively there. He's down 10 places from where he started. As you just see the battle in LMP1 resuming, and Cowlarts getting a new fastest lap of the race there, 125.3, but those times are going to come down as the fuel starts to burn off, and slipstream opportunities happen when these LMP1s come into contact with the LMP2s. Hopefully not literally, though. We're talking of contact. It's Simi Zalvo tucked right up behind Carroll and almost trying to bump draft his teammate there before they enter the bus stop.
And it's happened again. Our timing tower has flipped. The LMP2 pros are now overall underneath the LMP2 AM class. It's really cool on how that happens.
He's going to make his way to lead. Or is he? Because here comes Simi Zalvo with a bump draft once more. And, this could end in disaster.
How has he held on to that? How has Panetta held on to that? That is insane.
I'm still not quite sure how he managed to do it. I mean, right now, the 2 Drive Dead racing drivers of Carroll and Simi Zalvo, it feels like, like I said earlier, they're tripping up over one another and can't quite sort out what they want to do, and that's what's allowing Panetta to resume being in the lead and just holding on to it right now.
Yeah, the 2 teammates not wanting to race each other right now. They're just trying to get each other into the lead. But Panetta, what a defense that Panetta was having. Yeah, and heading on to the banking once more, expecting Simi Zalvo to get right back on the back end of Carroll and bump draft him past, but Carroll has got a great run. Panetta defending onto the inside right there, closing the door, heading into the bus stop. Smart way to do it right there. It was right on board. Oh, and Carroll, look how much time he's gained through there, and they are no sail right now. And, I just love that. You just get the sense of speed through there as Carroll getting the speed up once more. And they're all lined up 1, 2, and 3. A late pullout right here won't work as Simi Zalvo is going low. Daniel, he's heading into the pit lane.
He's checked out early. You were saying about it earlier, Austin, about, maybe just, electing to plow early. But even so, that's incredible. I don't think he's even going to make it home to the end.
Did he get a meatball? I think he might have got a meatball. The LP2s are really fragile, but I don't see on I don't see on how that would work unless he did get a meatball flag from that, from bump drafting his teammate. And I know you can get a meatball for some stupid things, but I think he might have got a meatball flag for Daniel Simi Zalvo.
Just see right now, Sorensen and Kofed and Muir and starting off this, what starts off this 6-car train right now, and just see Kofed just running a bit deep there, and look, Muir, he's going to come on the attack, but just holding off for now, just waiting to head out onto the oval section, and this is where he's going to strike and utilize that draft Here he comes. You can see that gap visibly shrinking right now as we look back from COVID. Here he comes. Here comes the Italian. Is he gonna squeeze from the inside? No, he's not. Wow, that was nearly contact between those two, and somehow...
Oh, he's trying to swing it around the outside right there, but no. Martin Corfed, what a defense.
Still not too sure how he's managed to hold on to it, but all that's been going on. Torrance has managed to pull away from these two. The gap's going to shrink slightly as they draft off one another, and look, just behind them, we've got I think there's that Spets coming through there. One of the LMP1s trying to weave their way through. This is where it could be a bit tricky as we've got LMP2 squirreling for grip and
around the outside. Alex Spets, like nobody was there. Oh my gosh.
That was a proper hold my beer, watch this type moment. I mean, it looked like the door was going to be completely shut, but I'm still not sure how he quite managed to squeeze that car through there and found his way through a space where no one else would be able to find it.
Alexander, I'm lifting one up to you. Cheers. That was awesome. And you see Jan Corbs, he's trying to do the same thing, but you know, he's caught up in a completely horrible corner to do so, and he's going to be losing more times now. And Jan Corbs is just like, wait, I lost time through there? How?
Well, equally as well, look, Cowlarts has managed to close up the gap. The LMP1's taking the high side of the banking there on the run up to the bus stop chicane.
You know, Cowlarts, look at that, charging in on Corbs right there. And Simon, he is in that draft right now. There's Timu currently sitting in third place overall, third place in class, fourth place overall. He's behind the 272 of Jack Dyler. The LMP2 AMS as the AM field has fallen behind the pro field. Little bit of a slide for Dyler right there, trying to keep that car in order right now. And team is probably seeing that like, okay, he's weak into turn one. I can get a good charge into there and get the overcut. Or oh, he's blinked out of existence. There he is, back just in time.
Well, gotta say, for Jack Dyler, absolute cracking start. Obviously leading.
Beautiful start. Beautiful.
LMP2.
Oh, Timu's gone off. It is certainly not Timu time right there. You know, Timu's been having a little bit of trouble throughout the series. He's made some crazy overtakes. They've unfortunately made contact with cars in the previous rounds on, you know, and just mistakes, right, like we just saw, and that's definitely not what Timu wants, but his pace is definitely there. He can bring this one back as he's locked in behind Zafoli, right behind him.
You get the feeling that he'll be able to claim that place back from Zafoli incredibly quickly. Just sitting behind him on the entry into the bus stop, just lining up the car, getting the best possible run out of it, and then coming on the attack. We get slightly boxed in by the P2. Now that dispatches them really, really quickly there. And it's all happening out on track, especially, well, once more for the lead in LMP2. You see the P1s head through, and Panetta still holding on to that somehow over Carroll.
Look at that, Panetta holding off Carroll, and Carroll is just on the back of Panetta. Panetta not going to be able to pull away right there. They pulled away from Jack Dyler behind him, and that's going to be good news for these two. But Panetta and Carroll nose tailor right now for our P2 Pro lead. And I feel like this fight is going to be really tightly fought. Oh, in the wall, that's Jack Dyler, the LMP2 AM leader. He's off into the wall, and that Swords in, and he comes right back on the track, right ahead of the 130 of Giuseppe Mulia. And Giuseppe, big slide right there, trying to avoid him. And Eagles made contact Martin Corfett, but our new overall LMP2 AM leader is going to be Thomas Sorensen right now. And here is Jack Dyler heading into the hairpin. Is just, he was hit from behind by an Audi. Was that Caloretz? Was that Ollie Cole?
I think
that was Cole, I believe.
Cole. Yeah.
It was Cole. Oh, Cole misjudged the braking zone and got into the back of him. And I'm surprised that LP1 car does not have a lot of damage right there, as this is Calorat's head of an LP1 of Jan Corpse heading into turn 1. Oh, these are 2 LP1s. I am sorry. I am going crazy right now.
That's turn 3 as well, mate. So, yeah, you're going to get do it
okay,
in style.
when we got all the way, it was turn 1, okay? You aren't going to give me that I'm saying the wrong quarter.
Oh, dear. So you see the battle right now.
Whoa, no!
Oh,
They've been contacted! Iconetti! And it says he's overtaking the lead. Well, he's cut the entire course right there. And Swords, Iconetti, and oh my gosh, was that a Tyser's or
he shut
Reinhardt?
the door on him. That's how it happened. And plus, combined with the net code, and it was never going to happen.
Not happy, not going to be happy about that. You know, he thought he had that move clear, but you know, another car. It's just an absolute chaos right there. And Jack Geiler, you know, he's just got to close down on Sorensen to retake that lead. And you know, with that hit that he received that LP1 car, he's not going to be happy about that one. But wow,
I'm sure we might see some hello. How are you doing? Flash of the lights when Cole comes back past him again next time around from Jack Geiler, undoubtedly. But just head back into this battle for 4th in LMP2. Groli, Zavoli, and Timu right behind one another. And here comes the finish drive. You feel he's going to, there you go, pull out from the slipstream and go on the attack across the start-finish line. Question is, though, Austin, who's going to come out in front into turn 1? As it's all happening against Timu, he's going to send it right around the outside. And Zavoli drops the place to Timu there.
as a Foley, you know, behind Timu is, you know, he's going to be pretty okay with that because there's another car ahead of him, so he can make up that time on the baking. And Timu, you know, back into the top 5. He's going to be happy about that, but, you know, is he going to be making another mistake? Because he does have another car ahead of him. He could get a little bit overly aggressive as Foley could take that one back.
Could well do so. Head out onto the banking once more. Broly looking vulnerable as we ride aboard with Timu. Here he comes in that slipstream, but don't discredit Zavoli behind. Is going to get a double slipstream from these 2 cars ahead of him. However,
Zavoli's not going to send it. Timu's not going to send it. He knows better than to send it into the bus stop right here. You only send it into the bus stop when it's you know, last lap opportunity or crucial to get past another car. We don't see LP2s sending it in on each other outside of the first lap and the last lap right now. But here is Francesco Pinetta and Owen Carroll. I almost said Ollie Cole right there. I'm loopy right now. But Pinetta and Carroll still nose to tail of each other. And Owen Carroll, I think, is just staying back there and saving fuel.
Yeah, from listening into a few of the drivers, a few of them seem to be dipping the clutches into the bus stop and into turn 1 as well. He's clearly trying to fuel save a bit.
Oh,
as we
Geiler.
see
Almost getting into the Seppi right there in the international horseshoe on the setup. But Jack Geiler, the AM driver, really holding up Giuseppe right there, or Giuseppe really trying to overtake Jack Geiler. But man, what a fight that we got on right here.
Well, it's interesting that actually Sorensen has managed to pull away from these guys, as we see. Timu's managed to get ahead of Garoli there on the infield section. Now starting to pull away, and Garoli now looking a little bit vulnerable to Foley. You say, undoubtedly, pass will be brewing past the bus stop. So I'll just head down to there now, coming off the bank section. I expect him just Savoli just to try and get the best possible entrance and then exit out of the bus stop to mount his attack. But what can Garoli do? Can he launch an attack onto Timu? So they can head down to turn 1. We've seen plenty of action from these 3 already. I'd expect to see more from them yet again in this battle. That's all over. 9th overall and 4th in
Oh, look at
class.
this bump draft right now. Guroli on the back of the 117 and Timu heading into turn 1, just maximizing their speed, not sending it into turn 1, but that is a beautiful textbook bump draft right there. And they're trying to pull away from Zafoli, but Zafoli in that draft is just crawled right back up to them as well. But 1, 2, and 3, and even 4, I see Thomas Sorensen back there as well. The AMS leader just getting a little sip of that draft and able to, extend his lead on Geiler.
Actually, yeah, it's interestingly, yeah, there's managed to get back past Geiler, so these two are scrapping it out for 13th overall. Talking of scrapping it out, as they were this time last lap, able to make progress. We see Schneider popping it past Cole there for 4th in class and overall as well. And I think maybe Cole, is he carrying a bit of rear damage? Did I clock there, Austin? To the back end of that RDR rating, we'll be able to see from this camera angle. Yeah,
yes,
maybe
he does. Yeah,
look
at the back left. Back left is really messed up. And also the front of that car should be a little bit messed up as well from that contact with Geiler. But, I see more damage on the rear than on the front, but, oh, that is not good, especially in that Audi, because, the Audi got the front end of a Formula car, with the wings all over there and, with just the wheels covered off, it looks more like a Formula car than the Porsche. And,
it doesn't. It'll be costing, definitely front end grip into key sections like the bus stop, turn 1 as well. Maybe get away with it a little bit into the 2 hairpins of turn 3 and 5. However,
but everywhere else is really going to be hurting him, especially the bus stop chicane.
And even straight line speed as well, and that's probably why Schneider was equally able to dispatch of the Audi driver Cole so easily, and trying to dispatch of people. But yeah, he's made some really good progress. I think Sorensen might even have made a mistake because that gap between Mir and Geiler has come down dramatically. Sorensen, I think, could even be online to lose a place to the 3D Rap Squad Corsa driver. Just running it out a bit wide there, and this is going to be a dress rate.
Yeah, Giuseppe down the inside. If I was Thomas right now, I would let him by, get back into that draft, and maybe start pushing him. Don't fight him. Let the pro driver carry you on. But, you can't really do that because right behind him on his bumper, there's Jack Geiler. And the fight for the LP2 AMS is alive and well.
Well, here he comes. Here comes Geiler up the inside, getting a much better run through the bus stop. Sorensen on the higher line as well. Just trying to, look, see Geiler heading up high there, trying to break the slipstream. Interesting tactics going on from these two as they jinx left, they jinx right. Trying to get that slight advantage over one another. And here comes Sorensen. Can he head up the inside? No, he's going to be a bit too far back. I'm thinking twice about that one. However, just behind them, two drivers clearly not thinking about twice as Kofa just runs it in a bit too deep, and that allows Andres through there.
Yeah, Anders gets the overtake on Martin Corfed. And, they are both heading into turn 1 with a freight train of speed right there. And very beautiful to watch right there. And, when he get turn 1 right, it just feels good.
Currently a third of the way through the race already. Not too sure where that's gone. However, having said that, we've got some 38 minutes of racing remaining here at Daytona. And, it's starting to enter into pit window range for some of these drivers. I mean, just looking at the gaps between everyone right now, Austin, I think nobody's going to, just looking at it, nobody's going to really benefit from the earlier pit stop. I'm going to expect to see everyone extend it out as far as possible if it carries on like it is right now. So you see this battle for the lead in LMP2 once more.
Battle in air quotes. They're not really battling. They're just working together.
Oh, yes, they definitely are. And I tell you what, it really is working. They've got some 5.5 seconds over Castellari.
Yeah, they don't want that gap to fall away, so they're continuing to work together. And, you know, they're going to be waiting till the last moment. They're going to be trying to gain as much time on their pit in laps. And speaking of pit in, Corbs, the first LMP1 car to head into the pits without damage. So Corbs is the first one to go in, trying to undercut everybody else. You know, it's just fuel and go in this league. Nobody takes tires. So it's going to be very interesting to see on how they do that right there.
It's also where Corbs is going to come out as well. I think he's going to come out in a bit of fresh air, potentially, just looking at where all the LMP2s currently are on track. Roughly between the halfway around the circuit and around about a third of the way round. So he'll get away in some nice clean air and expect some brilliant outlaps from Corbs. Pick up the pace and carry on where he left off as we right on board with Safoli right now, who's chasing down Garoli. Two Italians, starting off a trio of Italians with Mia. He's also starting to close up the gap behind these two guys, and I guess you know, expect to see these two working together. Likewise, Panetta and Carroll are doing out in front in the lead of LMP2 Pro right now.
Yeah, Foley in the draft. Still in the draft of Garoli right there, but, you know, these two just going to be working together. Some might be saving fuel as Geiler and Sorensen. The battle for the LMP1 lead is gone to Jack Geiler as he's overtaken Thomas Sorensen right there. And they got the LMP1 Porsche, hello, Audi down to the inside right there. That's held up Jack Geiler, but Sorensen can't get that inside line right there.
Got Ollie Cole into the pits from P4 in LMP2 Pro. LMP1 even. It's because it's got Pro written in the name. That's what completely and utterly threw me there for a second. And wow!
Jack Geiler, Superman, defending in the grass. He's overcorrected off the exit right there. Thomas Sorensen can retake the lead. He's got that inside line. He's got a better line right there. Geiler stuck onto the outside. Sorensen's on the inside. It's a drag race here in Daytona. Side by side on the banking. Jack Geiler, Thomas Sorensen, Geiler on the outside. Sorensen defending all the way down to the inside. Sorensen's got his nose just ahead. Geiler goes all the way out to the wall, out to the brakes. Oh my gosh. Getting the right line corrected at the last moment. He was holding Sorensen down there. Sorensen wasn't defending. He was just trying to avoid Geiler. But Jack Geiler swinging it out to the right moment and cutting across the nose of Thomas Sorensen in the braking zone. Man, that was one way to get that overtake done after a threatening mistake right there.
It was wow, that was a really ballsy move from Geiler there. And it's also not just giving him the lead, but also a 1.7 second advantage over Sorensen. Really did work. We've got Mass. He's into the pits. He's from 6th place in LMP2 AM. Also, just following him in there is Blancart as well. The two Benelux drivers coming in synchronicity there.
Oh, that overtake. Like, those moments are just bus stop-esque moments. Like, I thought they were going to race each other into the bus stop, last late breakers. But, you know, that was all Jack Geiler saying, I don't have to brake as hard as I can. If I go on to this line, I'm going to wait to the last moment because he's not going to be able to pull up right there. And look at this bump drafting right now. The 125 of Garoli on the back of Zafoli. Bump drafting into the bus stop chicane. He's going to say thank you very much. You continue that if you want. But, you know, they got Giuseppe right behind him, and Giuseppe still in that draft, and Garoli could be a little bit worried right now, but the LMP2s starting to head into the pits. Are we going to be seeing more of that very soon?
I'll tell you what, these two are really working well together right now. That gap is out to nearly 6 seconds over 3rd place in LMP2 Pro. It'll be interesting to see just how much longer they can maintain this pace and keep extending that gap over Castanelli, who's in 3rd. However, just going to sort of keeping half an eye on it. We've got a couple of other battles going on as well. Obviously, the one we saw between the three Italians of Safoli and Garoli. Interestingly, he's really started to close up onto the back of those two in that battle for 10th overall, 5th in the class. You see, Father, practically throw a blanket over these three. They're that close to one another, and I think maybe it could be either a bit of last lap madness, or possibly even a bit of pit strategy that might come into play and separate these two guys as Muir really up under the
here comes
wing.
Giuseppe. He's got that draft that is he going to go for the overtake? No, he's not. I feel like pit stop madness might be the way that most of these guys are going to be separating unless they go in at the exactly same time. And, you know, pit stops, if you go one lap later, you can pull away if you feel like you're faster, but you can also lose time depending on where you come back out. And, you know, if you want to stay with them, it's going to be, you're going to have to go into the pits exactly with them. If you want to guarantee yourself that you're going to be fighting with this car on pit exit, and, you know, you throw strategy out the window and go, you know, all crazy with the fights. And Panetta and Carroll, I feel like they might go into the pits at exactly the same time. I don't think they're going to be playing the strategy. Owen Carroll does have extra fuel in his car, so he could go one extra lap, or can use that extra fuel to make his pit stop time a little bit shorter than Panetta from the fuel amounts that he saved, and overcut him in the box itself. And remember, this is the updated Daytona. The pit lane ends at the exit of turn 1. So you have to go all the way around that corner. And so the pit exit, you know, if you're racing out there, you could pull a classic Austinite and spin yourself and hit the wall coming out of the pits.
Interesting one. Spets currently leading in LMP1 right now. Not only set the fastest lap of the race on the, not just obviously the lap he's just completed, the previous lap, but look at that. You see it on your screen right now. 125 dead, down to the 1,000th second. I mean, that's pretty impressive for timekeeping to make it that exact on the 1 minute 25s. Or maybe that's just my OCD creeping in a little bit there.
I feel like through OCD.
I think it is, to be fair. I think it is.
Oh, look at this. Oh, the 196 wanted to look for the draft off of the car overtaking them, the Porsche, and that's a 23 of Schneider making his way, and who's just trying to steal that little bit of draft. That's not going to happen. Swartz is going to stay ahead of Anders right there, but Anders was looking for anything right there, and you know, just a little draft hunting.
I mean, interesting one as well. Sorensen just since Geiler made that overtake, hasn't really had an answer for the Brit at all. So we see these guys, these three protagonists once again squabbling over the same section of tarmac. Again, able to throw a blanket over these three, and you just see, I think that was Safoli there just running a bit deep and not seeming to hamper him too much. But again, another set of cars looking to work together, it feels, once more. I mean, they've got a bit of a gap to cover there. Some 3 3/4 sections to Timu.
And, 3 wide. Heading to bust out. Look at Schneider. Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm going to be honest. For a second, I don't think they were going to make that work. But Nicholas Schneider, not holding anything back, charging through there to, you know, not lose as many time as he did. But man, that traffic almost caused a little bit of chaos, and I feel like one of them just like said, "Oh, that's an LP1. I'm gonna back off and I'll leave this alone." And Giuseppe, who was in that group, heads into the pit lane saying, "Okay, this might be my opportunity," because they are starting to fight each other. And as we see, Geiler and Leinort still fighting each other.
Oh, interesting. Tilgard is currently the highest runner on the track in LMP2 right now, who's taken to the pits. However, I think he's going to Just looking at it, he should come out in front of him. Or maybe not. There's going to be a bit of a close one between those two guys as you see Sorensen now right up onto the back of Geiler in this battle for the lead in LMP2 AM. And it just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, we were speaking about it during qualifying where the LMP1's playing a bit of a part of the story in LMP2 where just allowed Sorensen and Anders to close right up onto the back of Geiler after him sitting with that runabout, 1.5, 1.8 second gap that he's had comfortably since taking the lead in LMP2 AM. You see once more our leaders
Still nose tail with each other, and no one's really showing their cards. I feel like Carroll is showing his cards, that he is just sitting there and just letting time by. As, Geiler and Sorensen, well, we know what the AM's leader... Ooh, Sorensen on pit entry! Oh, man, wiggling around like a dog at a barbecue right there. Oh, my gosh, that was one loose entry. And, oh, boy. Oh... I don't know about you, but that one brought a lot of scary memories back.
That was very much a heart-in-mouth type moment, but the question is, did he get it slowed down in time?
Did he stop in the box is what I'm worried about.
Well, it's not long till we'll find out at all. So those two guys, yes, so Sorensen didn't incur any penalty.
He got
out
a better pit line. He got a better box time just by 0.2 for Thomas Sorensen. But, Geiler is going to be still ahead of him on pit exit. So that fight is going to continue for the Nets LMP2 AM lead. Unless they get involved in something.
I was just going to say, because Tealgard, although he has been into the pits, that was on lap one. So that's a bit of a false representation, that one. So that is the true fight for the lead in LMP2 AM. And... just listening in there, you can see here just how much Carroll is fuel saving.
And coasting. He's either saving a giant reservoir of fuel right now to carry on another lap to try to get the overcut on Panetta, or he's just going to be using that extra fuel to make that stop a little bit faster by not taking on as much fuel as Panetta has to, because he hasn't passed Panetta at all. He's let Panetta lead this entire thing, and he's just stayed on right there, and well, he's held on to his tail and he ain't letting go.
So professional 1 and 2 in LMP2. I'm just heading to the pits, Gib and Kofod. However, we will also Vela in as well, so we'll see Geiler and Sorensen resume that lead. Of course, well, Tealgard should come out in front of him. However, obviously, as we said earlier, he stops all the way back on lap 1, so he does need to stop again, does the Scandinavian driver. So you see, Safoli and Groli. When are they going to pit? And I think it could almost be between these two.
It's going to have to be right now, where they're going to have to pit. Everybody else is running at the end, and I know everybody hops in. There goes Schneider into the pit lane. LMP1 starting to head in there. No drama on that pit entry. Yeah, and here's Panetta and Carroll. Carroll's staying out. Panetta went into the pit line. Carroll looked like he was following, but he stayed out right there. So here is the strategy call by Carroll. He's saving it up for one more lap. Let's stay on board of Owen Carroll right now and see if if he has any drama. What about the track map right now? Do we have any slower cars in his way? If everybody being on the similar pace, yeah, it's pretty much clean air, and he does have the help of 7th place in the class car ahead of him, LP2 AM. He could get the draft off of there heading into the pit lane, because I believe the car ahead of him might be just coming out of the pit lane, so he's going to have the draft of another car ahead of him heading into the pits. This is going to be game for Owen Carroll. Timu also staying out as well. And, there's... Ooh, that's a tight spot. Almost hit the wall on pit end right there for Alexander Spence, but no drama whatsoever. Heck, he could have ordered a McDonald's burger right there, honestly. by the lead he's pulled off. But yeah, Carroll, see, getting into that draft, it's not that big of a draft that he's gaining, but it's definitely a advantage that he has on his rival right now. As are we going to see Carroll heading into the pit lane?
That is the big question, really. How much fuel has Carroll managed to save?
He's staying out one more.
What sort of lap time is he going to put in here? Let's take a little look as he cuts the side beat.
1:33.9.
And the first of the LMP2 drivers into the
That was his personal best time. That was his personal best time that he put on. He was saving it. He was sandbagging throughout the race. Well, I know it's Timu time in the box, but Owen Carroll, he's letting everything fly right now as he's catching up to this car ahead of him that has just been towing him along this entire time. And what's that car ahead of him? It's one of the AM drivers. I think it's
that's Ticehurst, that is.
Andy Ticehurst is really helping out Owen Carroll, the Quality Control Racing LP2 team, really helping out Owen Carroll. And this is going to be great for Owen Carroll right now. Even more draft. And now he's going to have Ticehurst. Well, he needs Ticehurst to get out of his way to not hold him up right now. Because the pace that he's putting in right now, it is great to overtake Panetta. He's 43 seconds. Yeah, exactly what he needed right there. He's 43 seconds ahead of Panetta. Now, I don't think that will be enough for Owen Carroll to get the overtake. But if he gets one more lap in, that is an improvement. He's got it. But last lap was his personal best lap. And it was faster than Panetta's. So he could get that overtake right here. We're going to find out right now. Into the box he goes. Owen Carroll locks it down right there all the way. Oh, man, that was using all the track right there, too. Owen Carroll into the pit lane. Panetta, 43 seconds behind him right now. There is Francesco Panetta on the back straightaway.
For the bus stop, isn't it, as well?
Yes, right in front of the bus stop, too. No traffic really helping him or going against him for Panetta. Owen Carroll in the box. And that's Connor Gibb off the track right there. That is past the box, so it's not going to be affecting our fight for the lead. As here's Panetta in 3 and 4. Carroll is coming out of the pits. Carroll and Panetta. Now Carroll is going to have to stay within pit exit speed right here because the speed limit is coming out. Here is Panetta coming out into turn 1. Carroll, he's gonna, a little bit late of release right there. There's Panetta. Oh, and Carroll on the overcut overtakes Panetta with a strategy master stroke, and he's ahead by a few car lengths right there. 3.7 seconds separates Owen Carroll and Francesco Panetta. And I gotta tell you, he's probably fist bumping a few times like, yes, that worked. Now you gotta keep it for 20 more minutes, but that was beautiful. Hats off to Owen Carroll's strategist right there. And, Jack Geiler, send a Rooney down the inside on the 219 of Thomas Sorensen. Sorensen got a little bit wide, and Jack Geiler says, thank you very much. But Sorensen says, you can come again. I'm going to send it down the inside on you this time.
But look, Geiler's still got his nose in there. He's going to get or is he?
Geiler's looking down the inside right there. They're going to touch right there mid-corner. And he pushes Sorensen a little bit wide. And look at that. There is another car, the 216. That is a lap down car of Yardu Ikenetti. He's just enjoying this fight, but he got into Sorensen's way right there. But Thomas Sorensen, I think he might feel a little bit done dirty right there with that little bit of a tap. The bump and run not working his way.
Definitely not, and these two have been swapping places since before the start-finish line. Once more, you can see Sorensen closing right in on the back of Geiler like a honing missile. Here he comes, locked in, locked on. And can he get the move done into turn 1? Look at that gap, it's really shaky.
He's going to do it before turn 1. Oh, that was aggressive. The elbow's out, going for that gap that nobody really goes for. Down the inside, Ikenetti, woohoo, almost getting in almost getting in onto the inside right there of Geiler. Geiler looking onto the inside of Sorensen. Sorensen holding Geiler off onto the inside as well. And Thomas Sorensen, they're both drifting around and around. Goes Sorensen. Once again, they make contact. Geiler, though, squeezing his way through. Thomas Sorensen just a little bit too much elbows out right there and went around on the brakes. Now, they were both out of control right there. Here's the replay. You see them both spinning, but Jack Geiler, oh, man, big Senderuni down the inside. You know, a little bit too aggressive, if some might say so, right there. From both of them heading in there. You know, bad blood can boil up into one decisive moment, and I feel like that fight is going to continue on until next week, or at least into the steward's room after this.
You had the feeling that it was going to end in tears for one of them, the way that those two were just going at it, like a true dogfight between the pair of them. But what that's allowed Sorensen, he's dropped now to 4th place, which is our Kofod and Gibb up onto the podium, and also a bit of a gap as well. It's around about 1.2 seconds between Gibb and Sorensen, as we just see our leader Spets with, I mean, can you believe it? We've already got around about a quarter of an hour's worth of racing left here at Daytona, and I've genuinely no idea where that's all quite gone, Austin. It's absolutely flown by.
Time flies when you're having a ball. And, you know, when we were talking before this, it's your first time commentating this series, and you were asking me how this race was going to go. Is it going to be like the TCR race that we were just commentating on yesterday? And I said it's a different type of machine and a different type of race, but you're going to have a great time. And I can tell you right now from that reaction, you are having a great time.
I'm a true lover of sports car racing, and this is really doing it justice. A real classic for the viewers at home and the neutral. We just see Geiler, and so there's one lap cars behind him, so that's not going to cause him too much trouble. That's the 116 of Daniel Zivizarbo. And Geiler, I think probably for the first time this race, can just breathe a little. You know, he's got a decent gap behind him, nearly 4 seconds.
Same with Owen Carroll. Owen Carroll's got with that amazing strategy call and 1 extra lap, well, 2 extra laps actually, pulled out that gap, and it was just perfection and strategy call by Owen Carroll. He's definitely driving that LMP2 car to its limits right now. He got the gap on Panetta, and, you know, he took pole position in the LMP2s. So we shouldn't be surprised by that on Panetta. But, wow, he just really carried out that pace, and he's got to hold on to that for 15 minutes. But, man, that gap is really something that he's going to have a cushion for.
It is an absolute masterstroke of strategy from him. Just happy to sit behind, just like you said earlier, Austin, sandbagging and just lifting and coasting, sitting in the draft, not using anywhere near as much field as Timu. Wow, nearly loses. I mean, you said about Timu earlier, he always seems to have a mistake in him. He's got the raw pace, but maybe lacks that bit of consistency. What's happening? Well, I was just about to ask exactly the same thing, so I'm guessing he must have done. And just needs to, the Finnish driver just needs to pull in a bit of consistency to close out this race. I know he's pushing hard, and Garoli right up onto the back of him. So we just see Schneider and Cole all over each other once more, and the battle of Porsche versus Audi in LMP1.
It's a great fight going on, and but it's definitely an Audi advantage right now. Here comes Schneider heading into the bus stop. You can see the lights flashing down to the inside right there, and well, that's one, and off the exit is going to be another, and there's Jack Geiler right there, and that almost made contact with him. But I feel like we've entered nighttime here at the track as the lights have flicked onto nighttime mode. If we go on board with the driver looking into the helmet, I think we're going to start seeing the clear visors come out.
Exactly. So see, we ride on board right now with Garoli. That's teammate right ahead of us, and Those mistakes costing Team a little bit dearly right now, kicking up a bit of dust there. But also, they've got Zafoli as well, right behind these two.
You see how much countersteer that Garoli is putting into that corner. Just keeping that car up pinned down. Look at that again. Just overcorrecting. He's turning right to go left right there. Doc Hudson would be proud of that one.
Oh, he would be indeed. Would be indeed. And you see Garoli closing in. It's the flash of the lights to distract Timu.
Hello, I'm gonna send one on you and Timu. Oh, Timu let him by.
Yeah, I think he definitely did. He just seemed to back out so then he could take this line into the bus stop, and then I think he's going to mount a challenge once more, knowing that he's going to have this slipstream on the run down to turn 1. This long, long run. However, don't discredit Zafoli behind them. We've seen his pace already so far this race and this season. And
Zafoli's going to get Timu right here. Zafoli going on to the outside. Timu doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have the draft. Zafoli round the outside. Heading into turn 1. Lorenzo Zafoli up into 5th place. But Timu off the exit. He's going to get his elbows out right there. And forcing Zafoli to take a little bit of jump. They make contact off the exit. Zafoli and Timu make contact. Zafoli just squeezed the room just a little bit. Originally squeezed by Timu right there. Zafoli got a bad bounce, got into the grass, came across the track and into Timu, and they're both out.
They're gone.
I can't believe it.
No.
I mean, Timu is still out there on track right there, but how damaged is Timu's car?
Can he limp it home? I mean, it's
10 minutes, but oh my gosh, Lorenzo Zafoli.
He's going to be devastated by that one. Absolutely devastated.
He's going to be furious, and you know, if there's one race where I usually forget to turn off the driver radio, I'm regretting it this race.
We see Schneider and Cole swapping places once more at the tail end of LMP1 in this battle for 4th place. So, well, that was a bit close. You see all the draft and maybe a little bit more close for comfort. It's a Porsche, the Audi, racing hard.
Here comes that top speed of the Audi round the outside of Cole. Can he hold off Schneider into the pits? Schneider down into turn 1, down that inside line, and he's got it. But here is the 125 of Panetta. They almost make contact. 2 LP1s racing into the International Horseshoe. Panetta staying. That's not a Panetta. That's Garoli staying on the outside. Not wanting any of that. Almost making contact right there. And Panetta, you know, I've said it again. Garoli, very happy currently with his race. You know, I think he might have benefited from that incident, as Timu, he does head into the pit lane eventually, and you know, he definitely was damaged from that incident.
I mean, if he got away with no damage whatsoever, that would have been absolutely, well, I'm not sure how he would have managed
that
it.
would have been a robbery if he didn't have damage.
It would have been a complete and utter daylight robbery.
Well, he flew over Zafoli's car. He definitely would have had damage right there. But that was nuts.
Talking of nuts, just look at this extra speed. Schneider just helpless.
Yeah, Schneider, no other way to go. 210 miles an hour for Ollie Cole round the outside in Daytona 3 and 4. Very beautiful speed by this Audi, and I'm going to say the paint scheme is, love it.
Almost a little bit of contact between them on the entrance into turn 1, and this is where the Porsche really seems to come alive on this infield section.
Oh,
compared
definitely.
to the Audi.
Definitely.
You really see. But if Cole can just hold on, and considering he's already carrying a bit of damage.
Boosting right there. He was boosting off the exit to pull away from Schneider.
But
Cole off the exit makes contact with the LMP2. We're locked up to avoid the LMP2 right there. And
that's Castellini.
Oh, Castellini, a 3rd place overall LMP2 driver. almost causing a little bit of late race drama for Ollie Cole, but Ollie Cole boosted clear, but now the boost is going to Schneider, who's boosting on the straightaway. Schneider sending it down to the inside. As Cole was boosting in the infield, Schneider was boosting on the oval, which is the part of the track that he doesn't have the top speed on, so he definitely has to boost right there using the hybrid system. But here comes the Audi round the outside of Ollie Cole. With 7 minutes to go, they're going to be side by side. Schneider needs to get into that draft and maximize its use right there, regain some of that boost, and harvest it until the oval once more, the infield, because he knows that Ollie Cole, but he's going to send it down to the inside into turn 1. Nicholas Schneider, P4 Porsche.
Just see these two CTS guys, Sorensen and Kofed, side by side entering the bus stop. That's not going to help those two because Connor Gibb is right behind them. Well, Sorensen actually is on the recovery. He's managed to pick up a couple of places, hasn't he? Because he was behind Kofed and Gibb. So good recovery after his earlier contact.
Here comes Gibb.
Oh, this is getting a bit tight. We're going to see potentially even 3 wide into turn 1.
Oh, there's no gap to go 3 wide. There's a small window, but Connor Gibb, he's going to have to think twice if he really wants to send it. And there, Corfed goes around the outside. Sorensen on the inside. Gibb right behind him. Watches it. Ooh, a little bit of a extension for Corfed. Sorensen gets around to the inside of his teammate Connor Gibb. Looking on to the outside of the international hairpin. It's a big defensive send by Corfed. Going a little bit wide and forcing Connor Gibb to cancel out that attack. But he's definitely got pace to make up the spot for Connor Gibb and get onto that P2 amateur podium right there, as here comes Connor Gibb right now on Corfed. And, you know, with this fight, you can see Sorensen pulling away. Corfed is defending from Connor Gibb.
He's trying to assist his teammate as best he can, acting as like a rear gunner to allow Sorensen to get away and get into that clean air and out of the slipstream range. What can the Danish driver do? Can he hold off Gibb in these closing stages of the race? There's under 5 minutes left here at Daytona as they come into the bus stop. And here comes Gibb. He's on the attack.
That was a dirty exit, though, by Gibb. Not the best top speed.
Oh, has he got to slow down? That's a bit of a high line.
And he really shot onto the outside of the exit, so I think he might have did pick. Yeah, he did pick up a slowdown.
Yeah, look.
He
Look,
did.
He's dropping time like a stone, isn't he? And this
I
is
noticed
surely...
it was really tight off the exit, and he shot up the track immediately. And yeah, he picked up a slowdown at the bus stop chicane. Unfortunate for Connor Gibb, but Corfed is just probably just going like, yes.
To CTS Racing, Danish drivers surely going to be guaranteed those last 2 places on the podium. Guy looking good for the LMP2 AM win. Likewise, own Carroll looking comfortable and pretty at the top of LMP2 Pro. However, this battle between the 2 Italians of Garoli and Maria. Wow, this is going to go right down to the wire, you feel, between these two. And it's going to be hard to know who's going to come out on top. I mean, you get a feeling if it's Maria, maybe just elect to sit behind Garoli and just wait for that last lap and make that lunge maybe into the bus stop. But you see right now, Garoli defending over the track and heading to that high line already. Going to look to swoop down on Maria. Maria just elected to sit behind once more and maybe just listening to what I was saying there. Ooh, bit of a twitch in the background there from one of the LMP1s. So they're going to stay out of the way. Oh, so they swoop in between one another, and that could have been a bit of near disaster there, Austin.
It honestly could, and you never know sometimes with these faster cars. Sometimes you have to put away your differences and just say, okay, I trust you won't send it on me if I let them by. Because if neither of us let each other by, we both might up. And then Dead and Mila goes a little bit wide, and he got onto the runoff area right there. And, you know, had a little extra anti-camber, outside banked negative camera, as we would say in the racing business, overbanked opposite curve in the roller coaster business. So we'll say negative camera. He got offline.
I think you've used every which positive, negative camber, and you've got to get it right somewhere in between all those, I'm sure.
He got offline. That's all I'm going to say. But in the draft now, but that's a dirty. That was dirty. That was a dirty bus stop right there. Cut the entry a little bit too much. It had a bit of a slide middle of the bus stop, but he has that draft to carry on right now and charge in on Garoli. Garoli going on the outside. Here comes Giuseppe down to the inside, but you know, that negate draft, I think he might have lifted off right there and let Garoli stay ahead of him. And he's just waiting for that opportunity because we got 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this race. Where is Alexander Spets right now? He's on the back end. So it's going to be 2 laps to go for the battle for 4th in the P2 Pro. And it's about to be 1 lap to go for Alexander Spets. And look at the gap that Spets has to P2.
23 seconds.
That is insanity. He's lapped pretty much everybody in this field except for 2 cars.
That is just mental, isn't it? Like, say, Cowlarts and Corbs, the only 2 drivers he's yet to lap. And where is he? No, he's not got a chance of lapping those guys. But that is a stunning performance from the Swedish driver in LMP1 for Audi, and a commanding victory. But he's just got to close it out, and don't want the curse of the commentator to strike onto him. Of course, we all saw what happened to Toyota a few years ago at Le Mans in LMP1.
I'm going to stop you right there because I'm a massive Toyota fan.
Yeah, we'll move on because we don't want to put the curse of the commentator, especially, and obviously we all love for Toyota. It's not only got the bus stop to really negotiate. The only tricky part is just going to be an easy cruise to victory, surely now for the Swedish driver. What's been a comfortable race really for him, and
well, he's got 1 real corner to go. And Alexander Spets, I feel like he could start cheering on right now, putting a hand up in victory, because it's just 1 flat-out corner, and then he could take the win. But yeah, as you're saying, dominating from start to finish today. It was a beautiful race, and Alexander Spets, 1 last overtake at the line, wins here at Daytona by a monstrous amount. Owen Carroll in our LMP2 Pro, speaking of monstrous amounts, 5 to 6 seconds in the lead ahead of Francesco Pineda. Was behind Pineda for the entire first half, and then the strategy masterstroke.
So it's Crusher Corbs and Cowlarts are battling hard on this race to the line in LMP1 right now.
You mean LP2? Oh, Corpse and Cowlarts. Yeah, Corpse and Cowlarts.
They've swapped places. And
they were setting up a photo. 2nd and 3rd for the teammates right there.
I mean, Cowlarts has made a mistake. Look at those lap time differences on the last lap.
Oh, yeah, he slowed up for his teammate.
13
he slowed up for his teammate. He slowed up for his teammate for that photo.
It's well, to the point of Cowlarts, actually he dropped a position because he was ahead of Corbs.
Well, Corbs is ahead of the championship.
Oh, there you go. So that'll be why then. The championship team orders going on.
Yeah. And Jack Geiler, hard-fought victory. Might have a few with Thomas Sorensen. He's going to be taking the P2 and victory, but hard-fought victory. Elbows out racing. Thomas Sorensen, he's happy about that. P2 finish after unfortunate spins and incidences with the battling for the lead. But wow, what a race that we saw here at Daytona. We got strategy overtakes for Oren Carroll on Pineda. Hard-fought race to get the P2 and the Jack Geiler and Thomas Sorensen. And then beautiful masterclass driving by Alex Spets to take the win. And it's a Protocharge eSports Runicar 1, 2, 3, but the gold team stands on top today with the victory overall ahead of Jan Korps, Simon Kallerats, Nicholas Schneider, and Ollie Cole. Your top 5. Owen Carroll takes the LMP2 Pro victory ahead of Francesco Pineda in that masterclass of a strategy stroke, followed by Lorenzo Castellini, Giuseppe Mila, Ricardo Garolian, Anders Lionert, and 11. Jack Geiler, hard-fought victory for the LP2 AMs ahead of Thomas Sorensen, Martin Corfed, Connor Gibb, Andy Tysers, Martin Telegard, and Roy Mass in 18th as Alex Betts burns it down here on the front straightaway. They're followed by Hans Blackart, Dino Vela, Timu Meligongas. After that massive crash, finishes down in 21st with Lorenzo Zafoli, Andy Thompson behind them, Gerardo Iconetti, Daniel Civisabas, Sabas Balog, Isma Yakubu, and Marco in 28th at the end of our grid. Well, the end of the result, and I believe Tim is standing by with our race winner, Alexander Spets.
Congratulations on what was, wow, a truly dominant display from you today, Alex, and that victory in LMP1 and thus overall.
Yeah, it was a great race for me once again. Managed to go safe through traffic and just hit laps after laps during the hour.
I mean, it really set it up from the start, it seemed. I mean, that you were able to pull away and get the jump of everyone as we went green and started off racing. And I mean, was that sort of truly your intention, or were you a bit amazed with the amount of gap that you had over P2 as you entered turn 1?
Yeah, I decided to go on the lowest tire pressures possible, so my first lap was obviously really much better than the others. I realized they struggled a lot, and I had a good grip from lap 1, and yeah.
And from there, I mean, it's there was a lot of incidents and action out on track. I mean, you seem to navigate all of that and not get caught up on it. For yourself, was it obviously from that point onwards, and obviously where we lost? It was Bolog and Yakubu on the opening lap, I think it was. For yourself, was sorry, it's Marco, wasn't it? So apologies about that one. Was it just a case of just closing out the race from there and just hitting all your times?
Yeah, it was a pretty perfect race for me, and yeah, I had some close calls, but I managed to not get involved in any accidents, and yeah, it was a great race.
No worries. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out at all?
I would like to thank my sponsors for making this possible, and yeah, that's it.
There we go. That's Alexander Spets, our winner today here at Daytona in LMP1 and overall as well.
Yeah, it was a dominating win in LMP1, but it was a exciting strategy call for LMP2 overall victory. Owen Carroll was behind Francesco Pineda, and we were expecting something was up when you just weren't pushing on Pineda. We were expecting you to go one lap, but no, you saved up 2 laps of fuel. Was that going to be the call? Was that the call from the start? Just max out the fuel as much as you can if you're in a fight with somebody else?
Not really. I mean, qualifying was closer than I expected, so I thought that, okay, well, I'll assess Francesco and everyone else's pace in the first few laps. I did try and get past him at T1, I believe, but he got past me again, so I thought, okay, well, I might as well sit behind and fuel save, and then I noticed that over the lap I was a little bit quicker, so I thought I could use it to my advantage and just sit behind, fuel save, and then, yeah, it clearly worked.
Yeah, a 4-second gap you pulled off on him from those 2 laps. Were you surprised at all that you pulled out that big of a gap when you pulled ahead of him and he was still in turn 1?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shock, I must admit, but with my previous experience with Daytona, I know how much fuel saving can affect the race, so I knew it would be quite big, but 4 seconds definitely was a shock.
You shocked us here in the booth, and you know, I'm a strategy masterclass guy, and I'm a little geeking out right now. That was a amazing call right there. Congrats on the victory in LMP2 Pro. Before we let you go and celebrate this win with you and your brain and your pit crew and everybody else, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I think the team did very well today. With a few mishaps there and there in the academy team, but they both did really well. And my sponsor, Next Level Racing.
Well, they're definitely going to be proud of you, and you might want to share a little. You might want to start working on that strategy masterclass book that you're definitely going to be writing very soon.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for putting on an amazing show, Tim. Well, Daytona, what a race we saw here today.
Oh, we did. It was an absolute classic, truly befitting of Daytona and its love of sports cars. And wow, for myself, what a great way to get introduced to this championship.
Indeed, it was excitement from start to finish here at the World Center of Racing here at Daytona. And I'm just so happy. Thank you all for joining us here for the Wave Italy Apex Racing League Prototype Championship here at Daytona. I've been joined by Tim Cox with Dennis Branch in the production booth. And I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.